The Centers for Disease Control issuing an alert urging medical professionals and the general public to be on the lookout for symptoms of bird flu, especially in those who have had recent contact with sick birds or livestock. That alert coming after a farm worker in Texas came down with the virus. Officials suspect the case developed after contact with sick dairy cows. The patient is now recovering.
And the symptoms of this influenza can be very similar to the typical influenza that we see.
According to the CDC, symptoms of bird flu can include eye redness or discharge, cough, sore throat, and/or fever. There can also be more severe symptoms such as difficulty breathing, confusion, or seizures. Health officials are closely monitoring these latest developments.
Cows, mammals, being a reservoir gives this virus new opportunity to change. And that's what we're watching for really closely. Has this virus changed, or is it changing that would make it more likely to spread from human to human?
The CDC reiterates the risk to the public remains low, and there has been no human-to-human transmission. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, as of this week, the virus has been discovered across 6 states, including Michigan, New Mexico, and Kansas. Cal-Maine Foods, the largest producer of fresh eggs, says chickens at its facility in Palmer County, Texas, tested positive for bird flu. But officials say the nation's food supply remains safe as cooking meat and pasteurizing milk kills the virus. In their guidance, the CDC also said farmers should wear PPE and wash their hands after handling sick animals, carcasses, or other animal byproducts. Michelle Franzen, ABC News, New York.
How you guys doing? This is Covert Radio. And this is brutally honest, fearlessly unapologetic talk radio. I had an epiphany, you guys. I had a epiphany, and I want to share it with you. I am not a fearmonger. I am not a this isn't fear porn. This isn't anything like that. But I do believe strongly in preparedness. I do believe in information. I do believe in sharing and having information and letting people make up their own minds. Two words flashed in my mind. They were get ready. Get ready. And right after that, there was a series of stuff just flowing, and I just started writing it down. And I came up with 5 things. And I just want to go over them backed up with information that it's just unbelievable. And it's so probable that I hate to even say it, because they are not going to allow the 2024 election to happen. And, you know, the whole thing recently with the Eclipse, I just wondered, like, why so much hype? Why so much hype? What is going on? And then again, I just had this epiphany, and I got to share it with you guys. Now, I am going to try to talk certain things I can't say in this. They're going to be sort of cryptic. I do want you to take a look at your screens, though, because I am going to be possibly just highlighting information without saying it. Get ready. Number 1. In 2019, the military World Games were held in Wuhan, China. This was the militaries from all over the world. This is their version of the Olympics. And I think it was the 7th annual. This was in October, mid-October of 2019. And even the government has been questioned to look into this, to see if this event in Wuhan can be actually somehow like legitimately traced to be the ground zero, the super spreader event that would later, 5 months later, be declared a worldwide pandemic. October 2019. After the military games, the military world games were over, all these tens of thousands of military men and women and families, they all went back to their home countries. That Christmas, I don't know if you guys know anybody, maybe it was you specifically. There was a lot of people deathly sick the Christmas of 2019. Later, 3 months later in March 11th of 2020, when the pandemic was declared, a lot of people were saying like, man, geez, there was something. I think I had because I've never in my life been this sick. As sick as I was Christmas of 2019. Super spreader event. Number 2, the media hype around the April 8th, 2024 solar eclipse was completely unprecedented. I've never in my life been a witness to the media hype that surrounded this solar eclipse. Schools closed, roads closed, free viewing glasses, merch, media, merch, live streams. They wanted to make sure every person who's able-bodied was going to be trying to be outside and looking up for a period of about 6-7 hours all the way across the United States. In 2019, I also watched something called Event 201, which was a simulation exercise of a pandemic being declared and how the world would react, how corporations would react, how governments would react. And it was very intricately discussed. It was a roundtable event hosted by John Hopkins. I covered this in depth, and I don't even know if those videos are still on YouTube. And if they're not, I am going to upload those to Rumble. Which, by the way, subscribe to Covert Radio on Rumble. Because the way this is going to go in the next 6 to 8 months, there's going to be a level of censorship. See, all the systems are in place now. All the systems are in place. It was all a practice run-up. It was all a run-up. Can we get legislation in? Can we get the right people in the right positions to silence the voices of America, to silence the voices of doctors? The Twitter files, it all came out. Well, now we have a savior. Elon Musk is bringing home the patriot pie of freedom of speech. If you believe that, you don't belong at Covert Radio. Need to be very, 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 very wary of Elon Musk. I'm not saying don't use the platform while you can. But see, there's list being compiled. There's list being compiled. There's data being compiled. There's AI learning in real time. AI wants to learn. how a conservative thinks, how a patriot thinks, what the concerns are, how a constitutionalist thinks. They're always listening. They're listening and recording and adjusting and a listening and a recording and adjusting. And they're honing their bots, their chat bots. So when the time is right and they got to launch all these accounts like they did back in 2020, those accounts were ghost accounts. They were ran by AI. I've covered this before too. Use it while you can, but also understand what you're using and while you are being used. Just like J6, everybody's going to a list. Everybody's going to get put on a list because all of it, the control systems, the legislation, the self-censorship, it's all been a run-up to the new event that's coming up. Simulation exercise. World Organization for Animal Health. March of 2023. Simulation exercise. High pathogenicity avian influenza in Guyana. March 14th, 15th, and 16th of 2023. The Guyana government was going to run, and they did run, a real field simulation exercise of an outbreak of high pathogenicity avian influenza under the title Bird Flu Prevention Test. It was organized through the government of Guyana, through the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock Development Authority, partnership with Veterinary Public Health Unit, Ministry of Health, and other related relevant government and non-governmental agencies. Since the March of 2023, and I'm throwing up quotations, exercise, since then, it's been a lot of people passing through Guyana, hasn't there? They're just bum rushing fences now, knocking over border agents, right? They're not checked. They've never been checked. There's measles outbreaks everywhere right now. And I've witnessed with my own eyes firsthand, these people are so third world that they will literally build a fire on the sidewalk in front of their house and cook a chicken. And when they're told to stop, when the fire company gets called, they stomp it out. They don't get fined. There's nothing. They don't even speak English. And 3 days later, they just do it again and again and again. There's feathers everywhere. They literally butcher their own animals. Build a fire on a public sidewalk and roast a chicken. Millions and millions and millions of these people have flooded our country, and especially record numbers since March of 2023. Number 3, media hype around bird flu. The CDC, the World Health Organization, Johns Hopkins, all of them release warnings and information about the bird flu situation that is now in humans. The AH5N1. CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, April 5th, 2024. Current U.S. bird flu situation in humans. Avian influenza type A virus, bird flu, they do not normally infect people until now. An unprecedented attack. Well, Bill Gates chuckles and laughs the whole time in the last several years how, wait till the next one. Wait till the next one. Johns Hopkins, April 8th, 2024. What's happening with dairy cows and bird flu? The H5N1 strain of avian influenza, commonly known as bird flu, has been circulating among wild migratory birds for the past 2 years, with substantial spillover into poultry farms. But what's sparking concern among scientists and public health officials, you better run for the mountains when you hear those words. If you've paid attention to the last 5 years, you better tremble when you hear these words. What's sparking concern among scientists and public health officials alike is the recent discovery of the virus in dairy cows and the subsequent infection of a dairy farmer employee. The only second person in American history ever to be infected with H5N1. Now, the virus has spread to 16 herds in 6 states. "16 herds in 6 states. April 9th, 2024, World Health Organization. Avian influenza A, H5N1, United States of America. The situation at a glance. The World Health Organization was notified about a laboratory-confirmed case of a human infection with H5N1 on April the 1st of 2024. The patient developed symptoms on 27th of March. October of 2019 until March was 5 months before it was blown to the worldwide pandemic level. April of 2024 plus 5 months is September of 2024. Just a month and a few days prior to a life-altering election. Do you think they're going to let it happen? Get ready. Number 4, literally tens of millions of people were outside for many, many hours on April the 8th of 2024. And it was unseasonably warm, at least it was here. We had about a 35-degree night prior. And the day of the eclipse, it was like 77 degrees. The sky had a rainbow metallic mist strewn about it. Those are contrails, Covert Radio, you crazy conspiracy theorist. Those are condensation condensation trails. Are you sure? Hype, 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 hype. Get out there, get out there. Keep the kids home, keep everybody home, shut the roads down. Get out of your vehicle, watch. Everybody go outside and watch. Travel from multiple states and watch. Everybody look up. Number 5. Similar to Wuhan 2019 military games, millions of people traveled from state to state to state to state. And they're going to be going back home. I want you guys to get ready and brace for a H5N1 pandemic. Only possibly through awareness. We won't be blindsided again. Because this time it's been promised that it will cripple the United States. It will cripple the world. This test, the first one, was only a run-up to install the means of control. Crush with an iron fist the independent business owners. So you have no options. Walmart, the government store. And anybody, all the ragtag, corporate businesses that had the audacity to try to hold on, their states were flooded with criminals, just given free rein to rob them blind, to the point where they crippled them so much. You even had corporations and banks shutting down. This is the push for the final days of America. I said in my Eclipse video, is the eclipse the start of the destruction? Is it the start of the communist tyranny, the forever president, the forever party? The cashless system, eternal lockdowns for non-compliance, AI-controlled surveillance, 15-minute cities, internet ID, social credit score, FCC licensing and monitoring and control for anybody who thinks they're going to be a content creator. This is Covert Radio. This is brutally honest, fearlessly unapologetic talk radio. If you want to support this type of media, become a Patreon. The time is ticking. You guys take care. Have a good day.